Welcome to the Verdant Verdict. I'm your host, Jacob Verdant, and today we're going to be joined by Chavez Brown, the wide receiver. I went to high school with Chavez, and we've been playing basketball with this young man, Bennett Jenkins, here. Yeah. You know, we've been kicking it up for a while now. Today we're going to be talking NBA playoffs. We got a lot of things going on, a lot of good games, a lot of good controversy for us to talk about. But let's get into some things first. Your time at Butler, kind of just describe it, go into detail a little bit, and how you've been enjoying it so far.
Well, Butler is a community college. It's in El Dorado, Kansas, and we're a D1 JUCO, so we're just not just like a basic JUCO. We're like a top-tier JUCO, and we have a lot of, national titles and stuff like that, so it's a very good football program and sports program as it is as a whole.
And it's fitting that you're going to be there because you're a very good athlete, and I'm assuming, the next step would be for you to maybe enter the transfer portal or anything. Are you looking forward to finishing out here at Butler, or is the main goal, in some instance to go to a different conference or?
Well, my intentions are to stay until next spring, and then after that, I'll just transfer to whatever college I'll just see I have interest in, and then I'll just go from there.
Is there any specific, colleges that you have in mind? Are there any coaches reaching out? Have you been to, in any camps, or is the recruitment process still open? How does that work as a JUCO athlete?
So it's basically still just like high school. Coaches will follow you and they'll text you. Only thing is they'll just ask you if you have like enough transferring credits to just transfer, or if you're a full qualifier, you could just up and leave if you want to, if you have the offer that you want. So as far as that goes, that's how that is. And every time everybody asks me where I want to go or, want to transfer to, the offensive coordinator from UNC, University of North Carolina, he follows me. And so, that's one of my biggest goals is to go there or hopefully transfer there after spring.
And that's reasonable, man. UNC, that'd be a huge college to go to. You definitely could. Going more towards the high school, you were a two-sport athlete, phenomenal in both basketball and football. Did you ever think about playing on the hardwood out there in college?
I had when I first came, or during the first semester of college, but of course I couldn't fit my basketball shoes in the suitcase, so I was like, can't do that no more because I don't have no shoes to try out in. And the coaches, he suggested I should try for the basketball team, but I was just like, I don't really feel there's no point in me trying to try out if you already stacked. You have a very good basketball team as it is, so it wouldn't make a difference for me to just add on to it.
Do you still play basketball in your spare time, like whether it be, in between practices or just, in the off season?
I play basketball all the time. We, whatever the case may be, we could have like a morning workout and a practice, and you'll still see me on the basketball court after that in the evening, just shooting around and stuff.
So the love for the game is still there. It hasn't gone away. You still go back and forth to it.
I'm always play basketball no matter what. That's something that runs in the blood of the family. So,
do you ever miss it?
Yeah, I miss it a lot. But, you got to make decisions. Life's about decisions, so I just chose football, and I'll just stick with that.
Going towards decisions, in your high school career, you did a lot of things to elevate your game, whether it be training in the off season or just going through different camps or different things. I seen you were a part of the Alva Kamara camp. Kind of describe how that was and how that experience was to be a part of that with such a phenomenal athlete.
That was very cool. Like, not that many people get to play for a camp of a professional football player, so that's kind of a cool experience, and you get to play against all these cool very good teams like Warren Easter in the car. We had the opportunity to play against them and ended up coming under, I think it was in the car, I believe, or I think it was in the car. We ended up playing them like we was the last two left, and we just came up under them. So that was crazy. We got second place and all, but that was cool too. Everything was a cool experience about that.
And speaking of in the car, a teammate of yours at Terrebonne, and Jalen Lucas, wound up transferring in the car in his senior year. Speaking of on Jalen, how was that playing with him and, getting to kind of watch him grow as a player?
That's crazy. As you know, his brother's Jakai, so they have like a extensive background of just athletes. And for him to be my teammate is excellent because if it wasn't him running the ball, it'd just be me catching the ball. So it was like a dynamic duo.
Right. With Jakai and Jalen being your teammates, do you think that they helped you grow as an athlete, being around that iron sharpens iron mentality? You constantly got to, go out there and compete because at practice at the same time, you want to go out there and show your game and go out there and earn your minutes. So what was that competition? Did that make it better or?
Yeah, I liked the fact that they was on my team because all the attention kind of centered on him anyway as it was. So I had to find a way to, get in the conversation with that also. So that made me, do better and start being aggressive with the football and stuff like that. So I could also be a part of that also.
And I mean, that type of competition really does bring the best out in athletes, because the three of y'all now are all succeeding at the next level. Afterwards, not many athletes get the chance to go play at the college level, but to go to the college level and be able to do it at that magnitude is really, it says a lot about you as an athlete, and the fact that, you got your plans, you got your next step figured out towards the spring and whatnot. It speaks volumes about the type of player you are. Speaking of the type of player, man, we got a lot of highlights of you in your high school career. A lot of good, legacy moments. I'm gonna show one of my favorite ones, and I kind of want to just know what was going on through your head during this moment.
Oh, this one.
Bouncing punt return, grab it off the grass. I mean, none of these kids can catch you at all. Look at this, and then this poor kid right here just pile drive him. I mean, what was there anything behind that? That looks personal.
I mean, when you have a lot of momentum going, you have one thing in your mind, and that's scoring. And me using the frame, I always had a tendency to just run through stuff. I don't like to move out of my, the way of things. So I was just like, if he's in front of him, I'm gonna just run through him, which I did. And I have a background of just doing that. As far as college, also, I just have a tendency to just run over stuff. It's just something that just comes natural to me. I don't feel the need to do all the moves and the extra stuff. I just like to run straight through you if you're in my way,
I mean, it works. There's no fault in it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The only thing broke in this situation might be that kid's jaw. I mean, he got completely drove into the dirt. He might be rethinking playing football again going forward. Kind of switching up to NBA basketball, though. We got a lot of good games going on. We got the Dallas Mavericks and the Golden State Warriors here tonight. Game 1, was kind of more what we expected, but man, Game 2 of that Celtics and Heat series, that was a snooze fest. I wasn't expecting the Celtics to go out there and look, the fact that they got Al Horford back, the fact that they got Marcus Smart back, that was a big boost. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a boost to completely propel them over their team and just have them smash it. The Celtics, defense wins championships, but man, that was some superb defense. They did it to Milwaukee. They did it. Now they're doing it to the Heat. What do you think about the Boston Celtics' chances going forward? Who do you got, ending this all? We got 4 teams left.
Right. I feel that in the finals is going to be the Celtics and the Warriors. I don't want to seem like I'm joining the bandwagon or nothing, but, Golden State always been on top when it comes to the finals. They always end up in the finals. So therefore, I think it's just going to be the Warriors and the Celtics. But as far as who's going to win that, I'll probably think the Celtics might just sneak up and win out of nowhere.
Really?
It'd be like a surprising thing to happen.
That dark horse, man. We got a little Celtics fan over here. He's calling the Celtics winning it all as well, man. Look, I'm gonna be the odd one out. Man. I'm gonna have to say the Warriors are gonna win. I can't bet against the Warriors. The Warriors got a good scheme, and then they're just so hard to guard. It's a lot of space, a lot of good movement. Yeah. Everyone can shoot. Pretty much. True. Look at their coach. Their coach is, one of the most clutch 3-point shooters for one of the greatest players. But I'm going to go ahead and segue back into that. The greatest player of all time. Who's your pick?
Greatest player? I'm going to go with LeBron. I always was a LeBron person. You go in my closet, you see LeBrons all over the place. That's just the person I just look up to.
So, I do got to ask, though, if you're saying LeBron's a GOAT, what do you make of that finals record?
That's... I have no comment with that.
It's kind of hard. Look, you got Jordan going 6 for 6, and then LeBron's out here shooting he's lost.
That's a big debate between them two. But I try to stay out of that because it just starts a big whole argument. I don't like that type of stuff.
I think when you look at it stylistically, the game changed a lot. You got LeBron out here. He can almost do everything. And, that's today's NBA. You got to have a franchise player that can shoot, that can dribble, that can pass, that can defend, that can play 40 minutes. More towards Jordan, there was a lot of role players. Scottie was the defender, and you got Dennis grabbing the boards, and Michael was ready to shoot, when he could. A lot of the times he got it in there, and then if he needed to get it out, he hit Kerr, he hit Paxson. Everything was styled and everything was molded, everyone was fitting in their schemes. LeBron does everything. He just takes it over. Now, does that, LeBron's going to be number 1 in points more than likely when it's all said and done. He's got the 3-1 comeback. He's got a lot of crazy records. So LeBron as an individual, like Nick Wright said, if aliens came down and said, send me your best basketball player, you got to play one-on-one for the universe.
They're going to probably use LeBron if it was my guess. But, as far as LeBron being who he is, you can't really argue with that. It's just LeBron is LeBron, so,
And it's hard to count LeBron out. And I do see some similarities in Luka Doncic that I see in LeBron James.
Yeah.
What do you make of Luka's game and just kind of how he's been doing it for so long at such a young age?
When I first seen him in his first NBA game, I was like, how every other player is when you see him, like, he's gonna be a straight decent player, And then coming up all these games and how he's just coming in clutch and stuff is just like crazy how he just evolved, like in a matter of games, and it's just crazy. And
he can just take fire out of nowhere, and he's so he really brings everyone up around him. But they gotta put someone else around him. Yeah. They gotta give him a good number 2, man. Because look, Spencer Dinwiddie's not the guy you want picking up slack when Luka has a bad game. Luka had a bad game. Game 1, they lost. It's over. Right. We said that in the podcast Monday morning. Mm-hmm. Monday morning, so 9 a.m. But we said that on the podcast there that if Luka gets stopped, there's nobody there to pick up the slack. Right. There's nobody there to help him out. In this situation, you're going to want to do the depth. You want to do the Warriors where you got the 3 guys who can take the shots at any point. Right. It's crazy, though. The Warriors used to have 4 guys. They used to have Draymond Green, who was consistent. But now it looks like Draymond just can't get a hold of his shot. I don't know what's going on. He can't even really put the ball in the basket. Does that go more towards what we were saying earlier with the Jordan where, everyone had their role? Is Steve Kerr starting to go back towards that old style of basketball, and he's going to try to implement what he did when he was in his playing career? You think that's the answer to Draymond's recent struggles, or is he just in a slump? I think he just reached his peak performance, and he's just done for it now, honestly. Everything's just going downhill now. Downhill, he's bottoming out like, Russell Westbrook? Yeah. So that's my opinion on Draymond. I think they're just going to end up replacing him with a big man that could just do it all, just like, LeBron or Giannis. They might find a Giannis, their version of Giannis, of course, that could shoot and do everything all levels of the, court. If you had to pick a big man to pair with Luka Doncic, who would you pair him with? What do you think is going to be the most successful duo combination in Dallas? Honestly, I would say Giannis, because Giannis, he's somebody that you could give him the ball, he could do everything just like Luka, but Luka could just finish at all levels and even beyond. He could pull it from anywhere and just knock the shot down. So Giannis being the interior, player he is, and then Luka could just shoot it from anywhere, and the court just stretches it out. What's crazy? I think I'm gonna have to go and say Jokic. I think Jokic is in a real rough situation in Denver. I mean, Jamal Murray was hurt, but I don't think that team's ceiling is that much higher than what they reached. It don't seem like they can beat the Warriors in a 7-game series, or the Suns, maybe not even the Grizzlies. You still got to worry about the Timberwolves. I mean, they got a lot of teams, that could probably have their number in the postseason. So I don't think, for the 2-time MVP, that he's going to be staying around there much longer. If there's anywhere that he'd go, I'd go to Dallas. I'd go to Miami. I don't know. I'd go to... There's a couple places that he could fit in. It's a good state. He's going to be moving from Colorado to Texas or Florida. He'd have a lot better living situation. But speaking towards the influence of the game, who do you think is the most influential player of our generation? Our generation, basketball-wise? Yeah. Once again, LeBron, That's the first thing. If not LeBron, then Curry. Everybody's a big fan of Curry. Yeah. My grandma, that's all. She's in love with Curry. That's all you hear her talk about. Curry this, Curry that. So it's just between them two, really. And Giannis, he's coming up now, so he's also a part of that too now. Yeah, those were my top 2 for sure. Was going to be Steph Curry or LeBron James, because LeBron James started with the decision. He started the player got more independence. The player could, call their shots, say where they want to go, when they want to get traded, where they want to go. And it also started the super teams, which we saw completely change the landscape of the NBA when the Golden State Warriors signed KD, and now you got all these other teams souping up. You had the Nets, piled together. That didn't work out. Super teams don't always work out as good as they say they do, though. A lot of things sound better in theory, but when you put them together, their personalities might not mix. Yeah. People forget at the end of the day, it's still a very big, ego-driven game. Right. These guys all think they're the best. They all think that they want to, they all think they're going to score 30 points a game. And no one wants to be able to take the seat and pass the ball when it's time for the last shot. Everyone wants to take it, and you don't win like that. That plays back more into the Chicago Bull era, like we were saying, where everybody had a role, everybody knew the role, everybody knew who was doing this. There was no question. But when you pair guys like James Harden, guys like Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant together, then they only get to play 16 games. It just seems like stuff like that can't stick. You've seen it with, the Lakers team with Dwight Howard and Kobe and whatnot. But what reminds me, the common era in that team, the Nets, the common, thing was causing controversy is kind of happening in Philadelphia, just like it happened in Houston. Seems like James Harden is, stirring up trouble everywhere. Do you think James Harden is really like, as I'm not gonna say is he as good as what people make him out to seem, but is he gonna be able to be elite? Is his game, more of a ball hog? Give me the ball for 20 seconds, and I'm gonna try to force a shot or try to get a foul. What do you think about James Harden? Is he really elite? Is he really gonna win a ring, or is he just gonna be sitting here like a street ball player in the NBA?
I honestly just think he's gonna end up being a street ball player. He's starting to become more and more lazy. During time, like he's just focusing more on offense. He's clearly an offensive player. He doesn't do anything else but offense, and so you can't really benefit anything if you're just gonna play offense. You got to play defense. You got to do everything. And for him to just, even in offense, he's not even doing as really good as he was when he was with the Rockets. So everything's just with him also just going downhill too.
It seems like that's such like people don't really realize that a lot of these players might not necessarily be motivated by winning. They might not necessarily be motivated by, building a legacy. They might just want money. Or they might just want the attention. They might just want to go out there and play the game. James Harden doesn't seem focused because, I was a huge Houston Rockets fan, huge James Harden fan. And I got to witness firsthand James Harden, not seem committed or whatnot. I remember I went to a game on New Year's Eve. He got hurt, whatnot. Close game, small injury. He didn't return. Chris Paul had to shoulder the load. Thank God we won.
Right.
Then that night, like I said, New Year's Eve, that night, James Harden's out in the club. And then the next couple years, James Harden goes out here. Yeah. He skips training camp, starts going out all over on pretty much a world tour with Lil Baby. It just seems like the focus is not there. It kind of brings me back to Kobe and Shaq when Kobe tried to sit down and get Shaq right. Like, come on, you need to focus. You need to lose weight. You need to get more conditioned. We can really win. They had a three-peat off the rip.
Yeah, people tend to get on that level of professional sports, and they'll start getting all this money and stuff, and then they just lose complete focus of everything they have to do, and so it just ruins the whole. Their whole mindsets towards things now is like, oh, I got money now, so I could just do whatever and, go on the court and people still gonna pay me, So that's I don't know what to say about that, but as far as that goes, that's what that is.
For the, I heard of Pat McAfee show talking about for like that mental side of it. A lot of these athletes have, once they get these big contracts, they kind of have trouble with that pressure. Like let's look at Patrick Mahomes, for instance, and I'm not gonna speak for him by any stretch of the imagination. This is just my hypothesis after hearing what I heard on the Pat McAfee show. These guys, they go their whole life, proving their worth and whatnot. They finally get it. Maybe that hunger's gone. Maybe that drive's gone. Like I said earlier, the guys might just want money. Some of them, but not everybody at the end of the day wants to be the greatest of all time and whatnot. But segueing back to this Golden State Warriors game, man, we got a lot of good looks for tonight. What's your pick, man? Who you got taking game 2? You think the Mavs are gonna bounce back? What's going on with that?
I'd like to see it happen, but like I was saying, the Warriors are incredibly versatile, and everything that happens with the Mavericks flows through Luka Doncic. So if he has a good game, then sure, maybe so. But if Luka has an off night, there's no telling what could happen.
Yeah, the team evolves around Luka, so you stop him, then they're pretty much
what you got
good. Yeah, they're straight.
And the Warriors are still gonna be shooting those threes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the Warriors are projected 6-point favorites already for tonight at 8 o'clock. Over under set at 213. Man, that's a huge point gap already. The spread to be 6. That's that's not fair and well, but that's gonna go. It's going to have a lot to do with what happened in Game 1. I think if Luka can go out there and, he can relax a little bit, get some shots going early, he'll be unstoppable. When you put the ball in Luka's hand and, it starts picking up quickly, it's unstoppable. In your playing career, kind of, through basketball, did you find, like, when you got active early, like more active and you tried to do things quicker and you had a better first quarter, that you had a better game throughout, or were you more like a second-half player? Or
Personally, I feel that I'm just all the way through player. Like I'm not like a first half or a second half basketball player. Like I just 100% all through the game. So I don't really feel that I'm a specific type of player when it comes to that. Like if you just give me the ball, I know what I have to do. I have to score and play defense and play my role of the court. So I just do what I need to do.
when you were playing summer ball and basketball, what were some of the AAU teams you played, and who were some of the athletes now that are playing in college and the NBA that you've played? I know you played against Nico Mannion and who else?
We played against Alfred Payton's team, and that's an EYBL team, and they have a lot of good players on that team. That's in college, like D1 colleges now. We had a teammate. His name's MJ, and he was our best shooter we had. He came from Hineville High School. He's at Charleston Southern. They're one of the best. I think it's one of the best basketball schools you could go to in the division that he's in, and so that's pretty cool too. And I have another teammate from Warriors Elite. His name Caden. He plays at LSUE. He's a very good player. His dad took me in during my All-Star days, and he took me under his wing as a player. And I knew my role. Everybody wanted me on the team to just get rebounds, and so I knew my role. I went there and just did what I had to do. And his dad taught me a lot of stuff, and which evolved me into being the basketball player I am today. So that was that's pretty cool playing against players like that. We had a lot of talented kids on our team that had potential. Some of them just chose to do college routes, and you know how that goes. People go their own ways. As far as that goes, those are two players that I was fortunate enough to play with that's on the next level for basketball.
What were some of the cooler cities you got to play in and different areas you got to travel in as an athlete?
By far, I would think this wasn't with this was with a travel team, a 3v3 team for the Junior Olympics, and we went to North Carolina. We always go to North Carolina, but this trip was just cool because we got to go visit Duke and see the facility and stuff like that, and you get to play against these big, huge kids, and I was like, us being the undersized, the underdogs of the tournament was just crazy because we ended up coming out in third, which is very good, especially with us being undersized and everybody there was like 6'5" and above. So that was a pretty cool experience. And then we always used to go with Warriors Elite when I was playing AAU with Warriors Elite. We used to always go to ESPN Sports Center, That's very cool because you get to see people from all over, different countries. I remember we see the same dudes, and it was these Puerto Rican kids, and they had like different color hair. I noticed them every time because they always had different color hair, and it was pretty cool. And it was nice. Like they was just beating every team by like 20 and 30 points. I'm like, that's crazy. It's just a very good experience. Going to ESPN Sports Center and just see other teams play too. That was a good opportunity.
What do you think is so for being towards the mental side of the game, the mind of an athlete, what do you think is the differences for basketball versus football? Like, how do you prepare yourself mentally, or what's the different things going on throughout your head throughout, like whether it be training, practice, game time?
Well, honestly, I have the same mindset for both of them. Like, I know I have a role to play, and so for me to prepare, I just, I take a couple of hours before the game, or even I'll start at, the night. I'll just, start zoning in, watching my little basketball, football hype videos, and then I'll just go into the next day, during the game day, and just start preparing my mind mentally. I know what I have to do. I have to go in ahead of time, maybe get catches in before the game or get some shots up before the game, and I'll be straight from there. Once I get in the court, I just start flowing, so it just comes natural. Once I get on the court, court or field, I just start going. I know what I have to do, and it just comes on like a light.
When did you realize that you wanted to take your game to the next level, and kind of when did it set in that you were actually going to have the chance and the opportunity to perform in college?
My home junior high days. Of course I always played basketball, and I knew I had potential. At first I thought I was going to be like a professional basketball player at one point. And then, time came by and I started getting bigger, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm a football player. But as far as me knowing that I had the talent to play at the next level was in junior high. I had the ability, like athleticism, to pretty much play any sport I wanted to play if I wanted to. And so that's when I knew I had to start taking stuff serious and, putting a good name out there for myself and start doing good. So that's what made me start playing hard and, getting all these points and doing good in football games. And, get the attention that I want. And once, I'm pretty sure one of my coaches in AAU from Warriors Elite, I was telling you, Caden, his dad, he told me, I had the potential to be the best player I could be in college and maybe even, professionals, whatever it may be, NFL or NBA. And that's when I just started, it started clicking. I was like, I really do have like the potential to do good and like, make my family proud and make my city proud. So from there, I just started grinding. You know, I had the mindset like I'm going to play D1 or just college football in general or basketball. And then I guess, you know, I had to start, you know, zoning them out, I guess, of making a decision between football and basketball. And then all the coaches just started texting me for football, and I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to get rid of football, basketball and just start focusing on football more. So that's when I just started. Everything I did now was just football related because I just knew I had a better chance at football. And everybody, one of the coaches from Terrebonne was telling me, he was like, you know, not everybody could have the opportunity to play basketball, you know, D1 basketball or basketball at all in general on the next level. But everybody has the opportunity to play, you know, football, which is kind of true because you have so many people on the rosters and stuff. So I was like, you know, that is true. You know, I need to start taking football more serious. And then I just ended up getting an offer from Butler. And then I just took it and went with it, you know.
Is there anything, you know, that you wish you would have done differently? Some things you would have changed along your path? Like, you know, you got any advice you'd give to a younger Chavez Brown in his early junior high school days?
Yes. I say this to myself every time, you know, take school serious. That goes for everybody. Like, you have to take school serious. You know, 8th grade year, they used to tell all of us, you know, 9th grade is where all the grades start matter. You know, that's when everything matters. And, you know, I'm pretty sure you knew I flunked out my 9th grade year, you know, with a whole bunch of Fs. And I seen how that impacted my basketball coach. And that, you know, I couldn't let that happen ever again. So that's when I started focusing more on my grades and stuff. And I ended up being like a point short and ended up to signing a D1 scholarship. So that really hurt me a lot too. So I was like, you know, I really need to start taking school serious. So that's a big factor for everybody. Just, you know, you get your grades up. Just keep on top of your grades.
Right. So what does Chavez Brown do in his off season, in his recovery? What's your plans going forward, you know, before the fall?
I really want to just lose a little weight and, you know, make the weight that I do gain in the muscle, you know, build up more speed, get more loose, because I'm always a tense person. Like, I didn't notice it. Of course, other people tell me that I'm a tense person. So I'm, you know, try to get more relaxed with my body movement and stuff. So I'm going to work on that more, working out. And that's really it in conditioning, you know.
So you're back down home for the summer. When are you gonna go back to campus?
Planning on going August 1st.
August 1st. And when would y'all start football training?
Probably 3 days after that. Probably like, you know, August 4th, August 5th.
So right when you touch down.
Yeah, right when we touch down, we start, you know, everything. And then also the freshmen coming in, so we have to get them acquainted also. Let them know how everything works with us and stuff, and, you know, we get to work.
Oh man, so you got some freshmen now. How that's gonna go? You're gonna be able to have like I guess like a little brother, big brother type situation.
This is a cool opportunity because now I get to be like the big brother to the younger kids. Right. So I get to like take them under my wing and let them know how everything goes. I think that's pretty cool because I really never do that. So this would be a cool experience, you know, to do that.
It would be interesting, you know, to have someone kind of be like your prodigy almost, especially being able to watch them,
right? You
know, take their game to the next level. Well, man, we got a lot of things to look forward to. I really do hope that this game's not a dud tonight. We got a lot of games that have been blowouts, absolute blowouts. They were just boring snooze fest over and over, 20-point game, 30-point games. The NBA playoffs is just, man, people are getting caught lacking. People are getting exposed. People are having bad games, and then the stands are empty too. I've never seen the stands so empty in a conference finals matchup.
Out.
Miami Heat had nobody in there.
Beginning of the fourth quarter is empty.
Yeah, only person left was DJ Khaled, man. DJ Khaled was still repping them Miami Heat. You know, always DJ Khaled is. Well, we're going to move the Monday show to noon, live at noon, and we're going to keep going live Fridays at noon. Next Friday, we're going to have our last night show. We're still going to have a 7 p.m. on the 27th. We're going to have Coach Aaron Butler, former Cincinnati defensive back. We're going to have him come in the studio. But Chavez, I appreciate you coming down, you know, joining the Verdant Verdict.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Glad that you were able to come in. We got some playoff talk coming forward. We'll be live again Monday at noon. This has been the Verdant Verdict, and thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Friday.